Alrighty, y'all. So as Mihai had said, we are really excited and honored to be a part of the Dream Fund program. So a little bit about the micro grant. The greatest thing that probably is that we're going to be able to give back to the Inland Empire. So as part of the Dream Fund grant program, we'll be able to provide technical support to up to 60 mission-driven entrepreneurs. And so I just want to go ahead and emphasize that's going to be only in California, and it's going to be for profit and nonprofit. And so we're going to really try our best to focus on the Inland Empire. However, we're not limiting it just to the Inland Empire. So if you aren't from the Inland Empire, let's say San Diego, for example, also to Los Angeles, also feel like you can apply as well. And so we are going to facilitate access to the Dream Fund microgrants, and it's going to be up to $10,000. We're going to have, or the CalOSPA decided to have the distributor of the grants, and that will be Lendistry. Lendistry will then facilitate those grants or help us out with the distribution of the grants. And so those grants will be up to $10,000. So a couple of steps that you're already doing right now is attending the info session. That will be February 28th today, 9 a.m. to 10, and then also to applying for the business readiness program. And so that will be going live today. And then the deadline will be March 25th. So a little bit about the business readiness program is that they will be 7 sessions of everything in order for y'all to be sustainable. It'll be a little bit as well of a sneak peek of what our Seed Lab pre-accelerator does offer, as our Seed Lab folks do get this session as well. And so again, that application opens today and ends March 25th. With those 7 sessions, you also do get one-on-one coaching sessions as well. And also on top of that, you stay in contact with us and we help you and make sure that everything is all well with your organization. So not only will you be getting those $10,000, you'll also be getting that extra help, that extra support for your venture. Okay. And so a little bit for the eligibility, I know that's why you all are here, to kind of talk a little bit more in depth about it. So first off, you do have to attend and graduate the business readiness program. Again, they are 7 mandatory workshops and one-on-one consulting sessions. With that, we will be having 2 cohorts, and that will be in April, and then as well as in June. Mihai, correct me if I'm wrong, when is the second cohort?
It's gonna be in July.
In July, perfect. And so then it will be in July. So they will be split up in 2. And then you do need, this is a really important one because we really want to make sure that we're on top of this one. You do need to acquire all necessary permits to operate legally, and at least one of the following. You have to have made 1 sale, hired at least 1 employee, created a business banking relationship, or you've spent money on the business expenses. That's including legal and accounting fees. And so another important one is register the business or obtain the business license in the state of California after July 1st, 2019. So if you're catching my drift a little bit, after 2019. So right now, if you don't have your license, you can still apply to our program. It just, we would recommend you to do it after, hopefully you do get the grant, and then you can apply for that. So it's really, it's a really accessible process in terms of that. So if you don't have your business license, don't worry, you can still apply. And then you do have to develop a budget and a comprehensive roadmap for your business. And then you do have to agree to inform us about the progress of your venture for at least 1 year or until your business is no longer operating. Okay. And I believe that those are the huge, eligibility ones that we really are looking for. And again, we will be emphasizing a lot in the Inland Empire. So if you are in California, you're still welcome to apply. But I just want to go ahead and note that this is a large amount. This is about $500,000 that will be going back into the Inland Empire. And yeah, and I believe that's it for this section of it. Mihai, Bradley, would you like to add to anything on this?
Thank you, Graciela. I think it's just maybe move forward to the application, and then we can get questions and clarify some of the requirements if our guest might have other additional questions. Bradley, would you like to take over?
Yes. Hi, good morning, everybody. Let me just start sharing my screen and kind of walk a little bit through the application process. Okay. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. So hi everybody, I'm Bradley Chargaloff. I'm the program manager here at Caravanserai Project, and I'll just be walking a little bit through the application process. And I sent the link in chat, but on our website, on the Dream Fund tab, which is here, and we're already on it, you will see down here, apply to program, and you can click on that, and where it will take you, and there's also right here. So just click on that, and it will take you to the application process, which is here. And here's the application. And we try to make it really straightforward. It's very simple. It should at most take you maybe an hour, but here's just some information about the Dream Fund application program, which you can find on our website, and what Graciela and Mihai have already mentioned. You must be, if you're a business before July 1st, 2019, you will not be eligible for this program. Just some ground rules for the application. All submissions are final. You will not be able to edit your answers once you submit. So a little suggestion we suggest you do is just draft your answers separately, whether that be through Google Docs, Word, or another text processing software. The deadline for this application is March 25th at 11:59 p.m. PST. And if you have any questions about the program or the application process, just email us at contact@. So just walking, I'm not going to go question by question, but just kind of showing you and getting you a little familiar with how the application will work. I believe most of the questions, if not all, are required, and it will also show it right here. Just some email, full name, a little demographic information.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Can we, Lakisha, do you mind saving the questions for after Bradley finishes?
Yeah. We'll answer all questions at the end pertaining anything, the application or anything. We can go back to it. But here, just some questions. Demographic. It's pretty straightforward. Some questions. I don't know if any of you are familiar with like Monday forms, but for example, like there's some questions that allow you to select multiple. So like languages spoken. If you speak English and Spanish, then that's kind of how it works. There are some questions that, depending on your answers to the question, other questions will pop up. So just make sure that you're answering all questions. So for example, if there are co-founders that are part of your venture, more than 3, a lot of these co-founder questions will pop up. And so and those questions will be required. So if maybe you're submitting and you're finding that it won't let you submit, it's probably because additional questions popped up and you need to answer them. Here, you will notice that these are just kind of the 3 kind of free response questions that we have. It's a 50-word limit. It's a soft limit in a sense, so you may go a little bit over or under, but just please consider that the limit to these questions is around 50 words. So please don't go too over or not. And that is basically it. Once you hit submit, you should be able to see this screen. And once you see that screen, you're pretty much good to go. That's basically just a confirmation that the application is submitted. As you could probably see from me scrolling through it, it's a pretty straightforward application process. But again, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to contact us at this email right here. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Bradley, for that walkthrough of it. And again, if you have any questions on the application, feel free to reach out to Bradley's our tech whiz when it comes to all our programs. So feel free to help to reach out to him in terms of that. We can go ahead and start the question portion of it, and Mihai will more than help us out with these questions. So Mihai, the first one that we have here is you want a business license for nonprofits. Can you maybe go into depth a little bit about that as well?
Right. Thank you, Graciela, and thank you, Bradley. Just a few more clarifying some of the things that both Graciela and Bradley has mentioned. This program is designed by the Office of Small Business Advocate of California to support startup ventures. The definition they designed for startup ventures are any entity, for-profit or nonprofit organization that has been incorporated after July 1st, 2019. So there were some multiple questions. If you are legally incorporated in California before July 1st, 2019, you're not eligible. And I'm talking legally incorporated. Some of you as entrepreneurs might have doing work, let's put it this way, before 2019. And maybe I know some of you here have been focusing on their enterprise for 10 years, 5 years, for example. That's okay, as long as you have not been incorporated before July 1st, 2019. That's the definition that the state of California has when it comes to startups. We keep talking about mission-driven organizations, mission-driven entrepreneurs, and that's what Caravanserai Project has been focusing on. Our definition of mission-driven organization or mission-driven entrepreneur is for-profit or non-profit venture entrepreneur that is working towards having a social impact in the community they are part of. So it's whether you are for profit or non-profit, we have a very broad understanding of what mission driven is. It can be from grocery store that provides foods to communities that don't have access to fresh vegetables, for example, to nonprofits that are working with children, providing after-school programs. So don't think in a very broad perspective of what mission-driven is. Any other? Please just unmute yourself and.
Okay, we have a couple questions on the chat. Maybe I could read those to you, and then we have. So I'll go ahead and start. Please, if we define mission driven, why the focus in the Inland Empire?
Because we are based in the Inland Empire, and but as Graciela mentioned, as long as you are based in California, you are more than welcome, and we encourage you to apply.
We also have, thank you, Mihai. We also have another question. Where are you? Is it possible to select which cohort you are a part of?
No.
Okay, perfect. We just went over that one. What if you have a business license but not incorporated?
That's okay, but you will have to incorporate by the time you have access to the money.
Okay.
That's the way it works is, in order to be part of the training program that Caravanserai Project is offering, whether you are incorporated or not, that's not an issue. But in order to be distributed the funds, you have to show documents from the Secretary of State of California that you're legally incorporated as a for-profit or as a nonprofit.
Perfect. Now that we're talking a little bit about incorporation, there's a recent question right now. Can we be incorporated in Delaware and still apply?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Only entities, legal entities incorporated in California after July 1st, 2019.
Okay, perfect. I think a couple questions were just answered right now on that. As a nonprofit, we don't have many types of cells, but we have had programs.
That's okay. So there are, I think, 4 additional requirements that whether you have a bank account, or an employee or a first sale, it's not, you don't have to demonstrate that you were able to cover all 4 or 3 of them, just one. If you have a bank account as a legal entity, that's okay. That's enough.
Perfect. Alrighty, we have another, we're getting a lot of questions. Thank you all for asking. One of them was, is the Coachella Valley considered the Inland Empire? Or
Yes.
yes, anywhere in Riverside and San Bernardino, that's considered the Inland Empire. When will the mandatory classes be?
We are still working on the schedule on this mandate, but as Graciela mentioned, end of April, beginning of May, and then in July. It only lasts for about 2 weeks, and it's a 1-hour session.
Perfect.
7 sessions.
I think now we can maybe take questions with the folks who have their hands raised. Would that be okay?
Yeah, just kind of highlight again, you have to be incorporated in California. It doesn't matter if you have an office if you are incorporated in any other state and have an office in California, you don't qualify. You have to demonstrate that your legal incorporation took place in California. Basically, bring the letter from the Secretary of State showing that you were incorporated in California. And I know a lot of people are incorporating in Delaware for it's just easier. But no, you have to be in California. The other thing, there are 17 organizations that were selected to be part of this program. You can only be selected in one program. If you want to apply for all of them, we have different ways of managing the Dream Fund. So some of them might not even have an open call or an open invitation to applications. It really depends on the organization. So if you, with your organization, you can only benefit from one grant. And the grant, again, is up to $10,000.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and start taking some questions from the hands raised, and then we'll go back to the questions because I just want to be mindful as well. Chanel?
Yes, hi. I just want to know, when you say a comprehensive roadmap for my business, is that like a business plan, or is there something different from a business plan?
Simpler than a business plan. We want to make sure that you are able to provide a comprehensive vision and logic vision for your work, and then a budget. And we will work with you during the business readiness training program on how to develop that.
Thank you so much.
It will not be a 10-15 page business plan, just a very simple demonstration that you are committed to the business, you know what you're doing, and you have a vision. That's it.
Perfect, thank you.
Sure.
Latoya?
Hi, I actually put my question in the chat so you don't have to read it because I don't think I worded it correctly. But so I decided this year, I was in business already with an existing, I have a tea business, and stopped for a rebrand. So this last 2 months, I've been working on rebranding it, changing the business structure, and I'm incorporating more than what I did before. Does that constitute, would I be eligible? I guess I'm trying to get around with the new business. I got a new EIN, I'm restructured, new business license, everything. And it's not really the same thing I was doing before, similar, but it's a different kind of structure because it didn't work before for me. It didn't work. So I need help moving forward with the new venture. Does that make me eligible or not?
Did you have to incorporate again?
Yes, yes. So
yes, you are eligible.
Dissolved the other. It was an LLC before, single member. So I completely dissolved that, and new name, new EIN. I have to still do the business license and things because I haven't really operated under it yet.
If you incorporate it again, the new business, you decided to incorporate again with the state of California, yes, you are eligible incorporate after 2019.
Yes, it'll be for this year. So yes. Oh, that's
Yes,
great.
definitely.
I need help because it didn't work before. So I
Yes.
have a new direction. So thank you.
Definitely. Holly? Hey. You're on mute.
There we go. Okay. First of all, if we are oh, you know what? Never mind. You already answered that question. Let me not waste our time. Second one is it an all or nothing grant, or is it whatever you feel is necessary for that entity?
You mean in terms of the financial support?
Correct.
It's not all or nothing. It's up to $10,000.
Thank you. Oh, and one more. With the I understand we have to be incorporated in California. Can we have a bank outside of California?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. All we will ask when we will start working with the lender and the grant maker to distribute the funds will be just a proof that you have a bank account. It can be a bank statement. It really doesn't matter where your bank is. I mean, nowadays banks some of them don't even have offices. So Rebecca, you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
This sounds like an amazing opportunity. I'm very excited about it and might be a really good fit. The main concern that I have is scheduling. I had asked about the different cohorts, and the thing is, we have a couple of big project obligations coming up in the next few months. So for us, doing the first cohort would be a challenge, but doing the second cohort, we could completely manage. And so is there any way to accommodate that with the business
yes
lessons?
Yeah. Once we have we are looking to include in the program up to 60 participants, and we will discuss with them once they are selected, presenting them the options and giving them the option to choose to some extent. But that will be distributed evenly. We can't have 40 in one cohort and 10 in the other cohort. So there is some alternative, but not too much. So,
as long as there's some flexibility, that would be much appreciated.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Daryl?
Hi. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. We have a community service program and a school. We're a 501c3. Do we have to choose which one, or are we able to apply for both?
Are they the same organization? Are these programs part of the same legal entity?
Yes.
Well, you will apply with the legal entity, not with the programs.
Okay, terrific.
Yeah. You can have 10 programs. The legal structure, the venture, or the organization will be the one applying, not the program.
Okay, I follow you. Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. Natalie?
I have two questions. When it comes to the foundation, I started the paperwork to incorporate before July, but we didn't finalize everything into May 2020. Would they take that into consideration?
Well, the date that is on the legal document you received from the state of California. And
for the Articles of Incorporation?
Yes.
Okay.
They issue letters that they mail you, or I think now even email you with, saying that Defeating Epilepsy, which is Natalie's organization, is incorporated on the date of. Look at that date.
Yeah, and then because I know that the nonprofit will qualify, but I'm starting an LLC that the purpose of it is to I do artwork, and what I want to do is create something, not just put my work on, but to encourage artists who have disabilities and differences to be able to sell their work on as well and tie it to the foundation. With that being in the beginning stage, could I apply for it under my business?
Yes, but you will have to incorporate if you get selected in the program, you'll have to incorporate by the time you receive the grant.
Okay, perfect.
There were some questions about nonprofit and 501c3. When you incorporate in the state of California, you don't incorporate, the state of California is not issuing the 501c3 status. That's the IRS. So when you start an organization, if you are thinking of starting a nonprofit, first you start as a business, you incorporate as a business in California. That's what we are looking for. Whether you are a 501c3 or not, it doesn't matter. What we are looking for is that initial business incorporation that you had to go through in California. If you started a nonprofit that was incorporated in California in 2010, but you became a 501c3 in 2021, you don't qualify. We are not looking for the 501c3. We are looking when you first incorporated in California, which is 2010. Daryl?
Thank you. Based on the information you just shared, our state incorporation date is August 12th of 2019, which is really close to July. Would that be an issue?
If it's July 2nd, you're in.
Okay, thank you.
And again, if you're not incorporated, you are in the process of, or you are thinking to incorporate, you're in as well. Okay. We will ask for the actual proof of incorporation when we are working with the grant maker to give you the money, because the state is asking for that.
Okay, thank you
very much. You can go through the program telling us that you're going to incorporate, but you're not incorporated, you will not receive the grant. Any other questions?
There is one from Kelly. I saw that she asked it twice. Is there a list of 17 organizations providing these funds? And do they all have the same requirements with different emphasis? Since we are in LA, I'm wondering if we would be a better match with one of the others.
Yes. Graciela, do you mind sharing the press release that the Office of Small Business Advocate put out? We don't know what kind of process the other 16 organizations have decided to design for this grant. But the requirements, yes, are the same. Gabby? You're on mute. Hey, Gabby.
Hi, good morning. I have a quick question. Would we as a 501c3 be required to have a seller's permit?
No. All we are asking is you incorporated your nonprofit in California, I think last year, right?
Correct.
That's the document we will ask for, okay. Not the 501c3.
Okay, then, but because I see in the requirements that we need to register the business and I'm sorry, or obtain a business license in the state of California. So being incorporated, will that take care of that then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's where I was a little confused.
Yeah. May, if I'm pronouncing correctly your name?
Yes, you are. It's actually Maria Elena, but many people cannot pronounce that, but I figured that a lot of people cannot pronounce Mia either. But anyways, hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have two questions. So when you mean incorporated, that means having like an LLC with the state of California?
Yes.
Okay,
or a
great.
nonprofit corporation in the state of California.
Okay, great. And my second question is, after completing the 7-part series, doing the application, how long does it take for us to get granted the California Dream Fund if we're eligible for it?
That's a great question. The grant maker was announced, I think, 2 weeks ago, and they are still in process of designing their the way they are distributing the funds. So we can't really tell you it will be a week after you graduate or a month. The moment we learn about the timeline, we will share it with everyone. The program has to be, the funds will have to be distributed by the end of the year. That's the duration of the Dream Fund.
Okay, and my last question.
Please.
You said that you were only going to be selecting 60 participants for the program.
Yes.
Let's say let's say we're not eligible for this specific organization. Would we be able to use another organization to apply for this program, since we would already apply with you?
If you have, because you're applying with a different legal entity.
No. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, your organization. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce
Caravanserai.
Yes. Since I'm in Upland, I want to know if I apply with Caravanserai, I'm not selected for the 60 participant program, can I go elsewhere on one of the eligible 16 programs?
Yes, you can apply with all 17 Dream Fund participants. But when it comes, if you get selected by all 17 organizations, we are communicating and cross-checking lists.
Okay.
So you will only move forward with one of the organizations, and that that process happens again when it comes to the grant maker. They will do some background checking in terms of you will not be able to be recommended for the grant by two different entities for the same organization. But yes, you can apply with all 17 if they have the same process, or
Okay, thank you. Yes, I actually came across your program through the state of California, and you were the recommended one because you were in my area. And I spoke to someone at the SBDC on Saturday, and they mentioned that these programs are more in line with someone in that region. So thank you so much for answering my questions.
No, of course, yes, you are, and apply with all of them if possible, if they have open applications.
Sorry, Mihai. I just want to go ahead and reiterate, because I am getting a like separate DMs in terms of the requirements of the rest of the other 17. Just be mindful that our process may look different than the rest of the centers, and their funding, how much they have for funding, might look different than ours. So I just want to go ahead and let that know, let y'all know. And yeah, if you have any other questions, please put them in the chat. Please raise your hand, and we're here to answer them. Also, as well, if they're very specific questions, because I want to be mindful of everyone here, feel free to email us and ask those specific questions. But again, we're here, and please ask away.
Yes, Ankita.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm checking the chat and making sure that we are getting to all the questions. From what it's looking like, we have answered the majority of them.
Yes, please feel free to unmute yourself, and so we can clarify. I think there was a question coming from somebody who is part of an international organization. If that organization is not incorporated in the state of California, you will not be able to apply. You will not be considered. You can apply, but you will not be considered. Melissa?
Have any idea the days or times of the mandatory meetings, because that will determine?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I had one question. Are they accepting LOIs or applications yet?
Sorry?
Are they accepting LOIs, or is there some application we have to fill out to see if we qualify yet?
Well, what's an LOI?
A letter of interest.
Can you explain that?
Oh, a letter of interest. Usually most grant proposals, they ask for a letter of interest stating why are we interested in the grant.
No, 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 no. This
okay.
is different. This is for startups, and you just have to be, as I mentioned, incorporated after July 1st, 2019, or in process of incorporation.
Yes, we've been incorporated since 2018, I believe.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't qualify.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Keisha. We kept.
Sorry, phone tag.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mihai and everyone.
Morning.
Quick question. So is there going to be a series of funding, or is this the first, is open, closed, and that's it? Or
Yes,
will it...
the Dream Fund is a one-time fund so far. But when the program was launched, it was described as a one-time fund.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Daryl?
Yes, I know you hit on mission driven already, but just for clarity, I was wondering, are there specific niche fields that...
No.
Okay.
Gina?
Okay, thank you so much. I was wondering, since the application is quite short, is there some specifics of what you're looking for, or like how the 60 startups are going to be selected?
No, not really.
Okay, so just mission based and showing that your business wants to have a social impact.
Yeah, and there is a question about, talk a bit about your customer. So just, we want to make sure that the beneficiaries of these grants are committed to what they are doing. Okay. And, the investment that they will get will be used to advance their organization, their venture.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anush?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Hi, morning.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I can't remember how I ended up on the grant website, to be honest with you. I don't know if somebody recommended it, but when I go on the website right now, there's a couple different options like Seed Lab.
Yes, only, and there is also the option of none.
Okay.
So if you have not been part of our programs before, just select none. I think it's the option. That's okay.
Okay, and then we could just apply for the grant through the website?
Yes, that's the only option.
Just wanted to make sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Carolina?
Hi, yes, good morning. I
Morning.
want to make sure that I did that correctly because I filled out the application and it was really brief.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We want to make sure it's easy, and entrepreneurs like you are encouraged and make it easy for all of you.
Okay, so I did have one question. So in our organization, we are a nonprofit, a recovery community organization. We don't have walls, so we're basically mobile or online.
That's
but
okay.
we help everybody, but our target. So I put our target area from where we're at, since we have 13 reservations right where we're at. It's the indigenous community, Spanish speakers, and the reentry population. Is that enough to put on there? Because that's just what I put.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anush?
Sorry, one more question. I forgot. Do I need to be a 501c3 or can I be for profit? I could be for profit? For
profits, 501c3 is tax. That is status issued by the IRS. Whether you have it or not as a nonprofit, it's not a requirement.
Okay.
You can have a fiscal sponsor, and I'm sure some of you here might have a fiscal sponsor. That's okay, as long as you are legally incorporated in California after July 1st, 2019, or in the process. That's a great question from Shriani. This is an unrestricted grant. You can use the grant that you will receive for whatever purpose, for programs, to pay for rent, to cover any other expenses that your organization, your venture might have? That's a great question. Thank you, Shriani. Holly?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to clarify and make sure that I understand. Sorry if this is redundant, but when you were explaining that there are all these different organizations that are offering the grant, we can apply for multiple ones and then you guys will cross-reference and make sure. Okay.
You will receive, whether you are accepted in all the programs and apply for to be included in the other programs, at the end, you'll only receive one grant.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? And as Graciela mentioned, please feel free to email us. We are more than happy to support you. Marilena?
Hi, I am so sorry. I have one more question. The grant, because I've never applied for grants before. How would there be like some sort of guidance on how to mention these things for tax purposes?
When you file?
Yes.
Yes, we will work on that during the training.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Any other questions, even if they have been asked before, please don't hesitate. Victor, do you have a question? I saw you unmuted yourself, so.
Claudia has her hand up.
Claudia? Hi, Claudia.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I have a question. I was
Please.
wondering that after we apply, are we going to receive like notifications of pretty much like the status of our application, of, you know, we granted, we weren't granted?
Yes, of course. The application is open starting today. It's already on the website until March 25th. So we will have to wait until March 25th to see, you know, who has applied and kind of go through the selection process with our committee. And then we will inform everyone, of course.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And Bradley just shared the PDF of the application. As he mentioned, you are not able to save your progress, so make sure that when you start writing the application, you have an hour to finish it and submit it.
Bradley went ahead and linked the website in general. We do have like a Q&A at the bottom. So if you still have questions and they're more so on the website, we have the whole process on the website as well. If you have questions about the dates, but if you have detailed individual questions, feel free to email us at contact@caravanseraiproject.org. There's a question, where do we sign up for the 7 classes? That's the application. So once you're the business readiness training program, you apply there, and then that's the grant comes with that. Nanine?
Hello, how is everyone? My question is in regards, I saw somebody put it up. I'm wondering if you assist with getting help with the becoming incorporated.
No. There are, what we have been recommended to the startups we are working with, maybe you can use one of the online services that like LegalZoom that could support you in, there are a few of them and some of them are good and you can trust them, that could help you incorporate, whether as an LL for-profit or a non-profit corporation.
Perfect. We do have a couple minutes. maybe we can answer these last couple questions. So there's one, can you offer any assistance in answering the rural and low income demographics for our area?
Yes, when you look at the application, in the application under that question, there is a definition what the state of California considers rural and low income.
Perfect. Thank you, Mihai. And then this question was asked already, but maybe just the last one. Is there any other criteria apart from the requirements listed the grantors are looking for when selecting the 60?
No, these are all there are no hidden criteria. No, what's on the website, that's these are the requirements. And again, because we are part of this program funded by the Office of Small Business Advocate of California, that's why only ventures incorporated or in the process of being incorporated in California are eligible. Because we are talking about startups, the definition of the state when it comes to startups is anything that was incorporated after July 1st, 2019. You can incorporate even tomorrow or a week from now or in May, it doesn't matter. And you can be a for-profit or a non-profit. You are eligible if you meet the other requirements. You are eligible to apply and receive the grant. Because at the end of the day, you apply to receive the grant, right? So you don't want to go through this process and at the end to be denied the grant because there is a requirement that you do not meet. Any other questions? Darcy is recommending LegalZoom, yes, please follow us on social media. We will share updates on the process when it comes to when we hear back from the grant maker, Landistry. So please, Ben, we'll also, if you signed up for this info session, we'll send you customized emails about the program if something if we have any updates. Anush?
I just want to notate if anyone wants to incorporate their business or entity, please talk to a tax lawyer too, not just LegalZoom and go straight for the entity, because you need to understand what's going to work for your startup or your program. You don't want to file for the entity and then down the line you're like, wait a minute, I have to dissolve this, because most of the time in California specifically, LLCs are non or disregarded entities. So you want to see what your tax obligations are, how is it going to fit into your startup, and go about it through that. So look into a tax lawyer and then file your entity once you have all your questions answered.
Thank you. If you're not incorporated, this is an issue that we are discussing during the business training program, figuring out what works best for you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a lot of time to incorporate as an LLC or as a nonprofit corporation in California. LLC, it's a matter of days. Probably nonprofit corporation takes a bit longer. But if you will be part of the program, we can advise you and work with you on that. We are not going to help you incorporate, but at least ask more questions to make sure that you choose the right. And the other thing that I want to add in the end is, if you're not incorporated, after you graduate from the business training program and you're waiting for the document, we will wait for you to be ready in order to recommend you for the grant and put you in front of the grant maker. So we know that sometimes it takes a bit longer, or different challenges might occur during that process. There is no strict calendar to connect with the grant maker. So we can definitely, if everything is okay and you have everything ready, we'll work with you. Carolina?
Is there a list of what these funds can be used for, or are they unrestricted?
They are unrestricted.
Okay, and does your organization, and forgive me because I believe I did read it, you will offer some kind of training and technical assistance through the
Yes.
process, correct?
That's the second step. The first step is to apply. The second step, if you are accepted, you'll be being part of the business training program, which includes 7 workshops and one-on-one sessions. It's mandatory to get the grant. I think it's the first time when the state of California has this really good approach to startup organizations and startup entrepreneurs. They are not only offering technical assistance, but they are also offering access to funds, so you can use the technical assistance and the technical support you have received and actually advance your work with the funds they are providing.
So the technical assistance will be tailored to meet the organization exactly at whatever position they are in and working there. Great.
And we already have the design of the business training program. Bradley, if you don't mind sharing that in the, it's a document you can download from the website with all the sessions. There are 7 sessions, what they include and so on.
That'll be in the chat, yes?
Yes, I think Bradley, Bradley just dropped it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And one final question from Daryl.
I think it's what you just had Bradley to post. I was going to ask, are the 7 sessions spread over 1 month or 2 months? Or
it will be so each session will be in between 60 and 90 minutes. It will be over 2 weeks.
Okay, great. Okay, super.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and the one-on-one sessions, we will schedule them based on your availability, the mentors or the coach availability. Those are very more flexible.
Are there a set number of those, the one-on-one?
At least 1.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have more questions.